Good morning. It is good to be gathered with you again in your living space. I hope that you've had a really great week. It's been such a lovely week. I hope you've been enjoying the sunshine and that you have felt the warmth comfort you, and hopefully it has revived some of our spirits because of how the cold and rainy weather we've had. I wanted to share with you that we made some decisions this past week, and I'm sad to inform you that there will be no summer camps this summer as we know it because of the virus and what is going on, and we're not sure what's going on. We didn't think it was safe to offer those camps. And so I've told your parents to look forward to activities in the summer that I will provide to you that you can do at home, and maybe we can figure out how to do some stuff through video conferencing, some activities together. And so and as always, I miss you, and I look forward to seeing you when we're back together again in person. As always, you may send me little videos or messages if you have permission from your parents to do that, just to let me know how you're doing. Today, we are going to talk about strength, strong, but not necessarily the strength that we think about when we hear that word, muscles, strong. And the story today that Linda has prepared for us is about a person named Samson and Delilah. And Samson is the person we're going to be mostly concentrating on. But before we do that, I want to light our Christ candle as we do together every Sunday morning that we gather. And I share these words. There once was a man who walked on this earth, and this man taught his people many wonderful, wonderful things, and he asked people to follow him and follow his teachings. And one of the names that people gave him was the light, and he invited us to share our lights, the things that make us who we are, and share them in this world with the people that we meet in all that we do. And so we light this Christ candle to remember that Jesus is the light of the world. Our story, as I said, is about Samson and Delilah, and I'm going to read this week from this children's Bible, and it's a Bible that often Linda and your children's worship leaders often read from. It comes from the book of Judges, and that is in the Old Testament. Samson was a Hebrew. He was in love with Delilah, who was a Philistine. The Philistines were the people who lived in Canaan when the Hebrews came from Egypt. They often fought with each other. The Philistines really hated Samson because he killed many of their people. So they talked to Delilah. Help us find out why Samson is so strong, they said. If we can find his secret, then maybe we can capture him. We'll give you a lot of money. Samson did whatever he wanted. He was so strong. He sometimes hurt people. And everyone was afraid of Samson. Delilah asked Samson one day, "Tell me, what makes you so strong?" And Samson teased her. "Tie me up with bowstrings or new ropes, and then I won't be so strong anymore." Delilah tied him up with new ropes. Samson broke them like soggy spaghetti. Delilah asked him again and again, And again, what made Samson so strong? And Samson told her, I am strong because of my long hair. And if I didn't have long hair, I wouldn't be so strong anymore. Delilah thought, this must be the right answer. Samson is so proud of his long hair. Samson even had 7 braids in his hair, and he had promised God never, ever that he would cut his hair. While Samson was sleeping, Delilah asked a man to come in and cut off his long hair. Wake up, Samson, Delilah called. Then she called the Philistines who were waiting outside. Come and get him, she said. He's as weak as a baby. Samson tried to fight the Philistines, but they tied him up as easily as they could. And then the Philistines hurt his eyes so he couldn't see. And they locked Samson in a dark room all by himself. And when the Philistines had a party, they brought Samson out of his room. They laughed and they teased him. Show us how strong you are, Samson. See if you can lift a blade of grass all by yourself. And this happened many times. The Philistines forgot that Samson's hair was growing back in, and he was still blind, but little by little, he became strong again. And one day, the Philistines had a big party with lots of people, and they brought Samson in so they could tease him. The Philistines tied Samson between 2 posts that held up a big house that they were in, and they teased him some more. Big, strong Samson, show us how strong you are. So Samson was very angry at the Philistines. God, he said, make me strong just one more time, please. Then Samson pushed hard on 2 posts that held up that house. Boom! The post broke and the house fell down and it fell on the Philistines and Samson. And they all died. And so did Samson. That's a bit of a sad story, isn't it? It says in this story that a lot of people didn't really like Samson because Samson hurt a lot of people, but he was one of God's people. And I would imagine that there was people that did like Samson. We just don't hear much about that in the story. But there is a happy ending to every story, there is happy things that happen throughout this story. Here is some questions that I have for us to wonder about. I wonder, did Samson show strength when he told Delilah his secret? I mean, he loved Delilah, but Delilah was tricked. And Samson did trick her back, but finally decided to tell her the truth. Do you think that showed strength? I wonder, what ways does God want us to be strong? I wonder, does strength just mean physical strength? Like breaking the ropes and the chains like Samson did? Or does it mean more than just using our physical strength like our muscles? In this story, we hear about Samson showing his strength, his muscular strength, and that he broke those pillars down, and even though he died, he believed in God. Even though he didn't have the same sort of strength as he did before his hair was cut the first time, his hair was growing back and he was gaining some more strength, but I believe that his strength came at the end of that story, not because his hair was growing back and he had that physical strength, but that strength that he had inside of him, that mental strength and that heart strength that we all have, that strength that we know that we can do anything if we put our mind to it, if we believe in the power of God and the strength that God gives us, that we can do anything. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think of a story, maybe a time in your life that you needed to be strong in your mind and in your heart. Maybe you can share that story with one of the people or all the people that live in your house. I think of all those times where I've heard many of you talk about the strength that you needed when you were practicing for your soccer or trying out for your hockey team or trying to climb that wall in your climbing competitions or learning a new script to do your acting or learning a new song on the piano or the guitar. And God gave us those skills to use, but even though we might have those skills of athletics, musical, and acting ability, and lots of other different skills, it doesn't mean that it comes easy to us. We have to practice and we have to work really hard, and we need to find the strength inside of us to move past that and to work hard and not give up. Because giving up wouldn't be very good, or we wouldn't be able to continue with our skills. And so I want you to think of a time when that might have happened to you, where you had to work really, really hard and use the strength inside of you to continue to do the things that you love and the things that you are good at. I was trying to think of some examples in my life that I needed to use my strength that's inside my heart and my mind. And there's been a lot of times. I don't really have the skill of music, or because if you've heard me sing, you know that, or athleticism. But there are times where in my, let's say, work life, where I'm a little bit embarrassed or I'm not sure quite how to do something, but I know that I have the gift to do it, but I just need some help. So I don't just give up because I don't know what I'm doing, but I ask for help. I ask God to give me the strength to help me learn new things and to ask for help and to ask for guidance and suggestions. And I work through kind of that embarrassment that I have, maybe that lack of confidence that I have. And I find the strength inside me just to do the best I can, knowing that I have done everything I can to do what I need to do to be better at my skill. In the lesson plans that Linda provided, there's a little video about Samson and Delilah that's kind of fun and just quick and easy to listen to. There is a little bit different version of the story if you want to read that on your own. There's some little games that you can play. There's some coloring pages. There's also some really neat response activities as well. One of the things that she put in one of the lesson plans was to make trail mix. And trail mix sometimes can be unhealthy depending what we put in it, but she has put together a trail mix that is healthy. And we need to eat healthy so we can be strong physically and mentally and in our heart, so we can do all the incredible things that God has called us to do in our lives. And so maybe you want to make trail mix for a snack sometime this week. There is a craft and it's building through paper, just pillar crafts. You can cut them out, you can use cardboard, and that's to remind us of those pillars that Samson crashed down and the house fell on people, but that's to remind us to use our inner strength, not just our physical strength, even though Samson did use his physical strength. But I believe those pillars were crashed to the ground and the house was crashed to the ground because Samson used his inner strength to do that. There's also this really fun highlighter craft, and you'll see it on the lesson plans. And the craft has like really fun long hair, and that again is to remind us of the strength that Samson had with his long hair. And that's kind of funny as we talk about long hair, because we haven't been able to get haircuts for like 8 or 9 weeks now. And so our hair is getting long. And so I know that for me, it's kind of driving me crazy. Some of you might like it, but yeah, we can think about that hair and what that hair does for us, and how Samson's hair made him strong. And so let's pray together, my friends. God, we give you incredible thanks. We give you thanks for our strength. Not just our physical strength, but our inner strength. That strength that we have in our hearts and our minds that help us stand up for what we believe in, and help us not to give up on the things that we love to do and the things that we have been called to do in our lives. God, we give you thanks for our time together this morning. We give you thanks for our family and our friends. And we give you thanks knowing that you love us so much. Amen. And as I blow out the Christ candle, we are reminded that this smoke that we see in the air reminds us that the light of Christ goes with us. That light, that smoke goes with us, that Jesus is amongst us, giving us that strength, inviting us to share our light wherever we go. Until we meet again, my friends, I wish you well.